All right, what's happening? What's happening, guys? Happy Monday to you. It is Monday, June 20th, 2022. And this morning we're going to talk about the ability to focus when things are off, the ability to still show up exactly the same and deliver at exactly the same level, regardless of the circumstances of what's going on in your life, in your business, whatever it is. That ability to keep balanced and stay focused when things are a little bit off, I believe is what separates the good from the great. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning to you and happy Monday. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. For all the dads out there, I hope you had an awesome Father's Day and got to spend some time with the family. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about focus and most importantly, focus when things are not perfect. Things happen in life and business all the time, right? And your ability to focus and deliver, regardless of the circumstances that are around you. In my experience of studying high performers, this is what separates the great from the good, the champions from the almost champions, the people in professional sports that have, good careers versus those that run off a bunch of championships. Because rest assured, guys, I want you to think about this. These people, these athletes who have won many, many championships. Do you think that everything in their life was perfect when they were winning the championships? Do you think that everything going on around them, or there was no problems in the locker room, or there was never any issues, right? You got a bunch of people on a team, whether it's in business, professional sports, whatever it is, you got a bunch of people working together. You think there's never any issues? It's somebody's ability to focus, regardless of the circumstances, to essentially focus on what's right in front of them and deliver at a high level, regardless of how much stuff they have to deal with. I want you to think about that in your own life. When things go sideways in your life, when things are just a little bit off, right? Something's happening at home. Somebody in your family might have an illness. Something's going on. In the business, there's trials and tribulations of everyday things that happen in a business, right? How do you respond to that? Can you stay focused during those times of difficulty? For me, this has been one of the things that I am most proud of about myself, is that the work that I've done on myself, the discipline that I've been able to develop in many areas of my life. I actually believe in my own mind, and whether this is true or not, you'd have to ask the people around me. But I 100% believe with a lot of certainty that I perform best under duress, that I am the best leader that I can be when things are a little off, when people need me the most, right? To kind of keep that center point centered, to keep everything stable. When you are the person in life that can deliver the same results, regardless of whether you're under duress or whether things are all great, you will separate yourself from the pack in ways that you can't imagine, because it's magnetic, right? It's one of my things that I stand on, that I talk about all the time, is I always want to be the steady hand that people can depend on, regardless of the circumstances. So when I say that out loud, I want you to think about this. I actually commit myself to doing that better just by saying it out loud. Just by saying that's who I want to become, the likelihood of me actually being that person increases. So I want you guys to think about that in your own life. Are you the person that delivers under duress? Or are you the person that kind of, loses it a little bit and has to kind of get back on track? Nobody's perfect with this, by the way, but the more that you practice it, the more you're aware of it, the more that you have certainty around the fact that this is who you want to be, the more likely it is that that's who you'll actually become. In my studying of incredibly successful people, and again, business success, sports success, lots of people out there, right? The best political figures, the best presidents of all time, the best world leaders of all time, their ability to lead and focus when everything is off is what separates them. Because nobody actually remembers those people that everything goes smooth for, right? When there's no issues for the time that somebody's a president, not likely that a president will stand out in history. However, when you get the opportunity to deal with difficulty, people will always remember how you responded to that. They will always remember how calm you were able to keep people when everything seemed off. So the question is, can you focus during those times when things are off? Whether things are slightly off, something's wrong at home, whatever the case is, will people notice that in you, or will you deliver regardless of the circumstances? If that's not you today, I would encourage you to think about what that looks like in your life and why, because a lot of people will experience ups and downs with you, regardless of whether it is personal, professional, etc. People will experience a lot of ups and downs with you if that's the case. If you are not able to deliver, if you're not able to be even a good parent, right? To be good and stable with your children when things really seem off. The ability to do that really will separate you from, first of all, your former self, and also any competition out there in the world of business, sports, life in general. Your ability to deal with difficult will define you in the long run. Can you focus when everything's off? That's the question. And by the way, any time that you have something going on, like we have a retreat coming up this weekend. We've got people flying in from all over the country, whole bunch of people coming here to Pittsburgh for Heinz Field. Nothing about those types of events, those types of scenarios, nothing's ever perfect. Nothing is ever perfect. I use this analogy often. I always say you want to function like a duck, calm on the top of the water. What everybody sees is super calm, but paddling like crazy underneath just to make it all happen, right? Just to make everything move, make everything fall into place the way that it should. This is what it takes, guys. This is what it takes to be truly successful. It also takes this, I believe, to reach the highest level of fulfillment. Because if you don't internalize that stress, if you don't actually take the circumstances that happen in life and internalize them, you will be a person that people want to be around. If you are the person that responds to everything, right? And we all know these people up and down, right? Anything that happens in their life, they got to talk about it. They got to call 17 people and vent to them. They got to, everything that happens, they got to make a big deal out of. How often do you say man, I wish I could spend more time with that person? Think about that. Versus, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what's happening in your life, you show up and deliver exactly the same every single time. That's who I aspire to be. The steady hand. that anybody can depend on, regardless of how sideways anything might get. I'm going to show up and I'm going to deliver because that's who I say I'm going to be. And the more awareness that I have to being that person, to aspiring to be that person, and really managing myself to what is it that I'm not doing, I have the ability to refocus myself like that because I talk about it. I commit to it. I'm talking about it with you guys. So I can't allow circumstances to change who I am, to change how I show up for you guys, to change how I show up for my family, how I show up for my team, how I show up for the people this weekend that are coming here to have an experience. It doesn't matter what's happening in my world. I got to show up. I got to learn to block out the noise, to be present for what is happening next. What is it that I need to accomplish? Whatever that task is, task or tasks, I have a singular focus on whatever that is. So at 8:30 this morning, we have the leadership meeting for the pavement group. Singular focus. All I'm focused on is the numbers, the performance, where we're going, what issues we have, how we need to get those resolved for as long as that call lasts. No distractions. No trying to do other things at the same time. Those people, that group of people, is all I care about. It doesn't matter what's happening outside of those people. It doesn't matter what's happening outside of that meeting. Now, obviously, there's some exceptions if somebody is sick or an emergency or something like that. But other than that, keep your focus pointed in a singular direction and watch how much stuff you can get done. And watch how much noise you can block out in your own life. Always, guys, the circumstances will never be perfect. So when are you going to decide that you're going to do what it is that you said you were going to do, but something happened that knocked you off track? It's an excuse. It is nothing but an excuse. You have the ability, we're all wired exactly the same. You have the ability to focus when you want to. If it's important enough, it will get your focus. So ask yourself, are you prioritizing? Are you present where your feet are? And can you focus regardless of the circumstances and deliver the same result, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of what's happening in your business? If you can't, it's something you should focus on because it's a game changer for progress. If the only time you deliver the way that you should is when things are right, you are selling yourself short to how much you can accomplish in a short period of time. Don't wait for the circumstances to be right. Get it right regardless of the circumstances. Push through. The process, this process that I'm explaining, it is meant to weed out the weak. The people that can't focus, that can't stay pointed in a singular direction for an extended period of time, there's a reason why they all end up in the same place. Why they can't make progress. They can't seem to get it right. They can't get on track. They don't have enough certainty, enough passion, enough commitment to whatever it is that they want to do to actually stay the course, regardless of what's happening in the world. This economic situation that we're in, watch and see how many people get thrown off course as a result of the economy being sideways because they listen to the noise and they assume the position of being a victim. Well, things are going to get really hard. They definitely will if that's what you talk about. They will also, things will also get a lot better and you will rocket through the period of time of whatever is happening. Call it a recession, call it whatever you want. And you will come out on the other side on top if that's what you believe. And those are the actions that you take. Your ability to focus when other people cannot will allow you to create distance like you've never created between you and your former self, you and your competition. That's what it takes. It's one of the key elements to successful people. They have the ability to deliver regardless of the circumstances. That's the message for today, guys. I hope it was helpful. I hope it hit somebody. I hope somebody needed to hear it this morning. God put it on my heart, so I'm assuming that's the case. Focus, guys. Regardless of what's going on outside, regardless of what's going on in your life, focus and deliver, and you'll become a person that people trust, people look to. You'll become magnetic, man. People want to be part of that. Be the steady hand and watch what happens in your life. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.